Welcome back to Spitballing Cards. In our last episode, we did not get all of our topics done, so we're going to do it in this episode. We want to talk about the crazy high-end sales we've been seeing and maybe even debate on if certain sets should exist or if they should just be retired at this point. What's their purpose in the hobby? In this episode, you have me, Scott, Ty, Jeff, and Chris. Thanks for being here, everybody. And let's talk about the recent high-end sales that we've been seeing. So this last week, we saw from Fanatics Collect now, formerly PWCC, some very high auctions. I'll share my screen and we can kind of go over them and we can discuss if we think they're legitimate, if there's something fishy going on, if the hobby's rebounding for high end, and kind of just get what our thoughts are. So let me highlight a few sales that I thought were intriguing. The very first one is this Bobby Witt Jr. Orange Bowman Chrome autograph, PSA 10, autograph grade 10 for $43,000. Jeff, how does that make you feel?
That seems like a lot of money. A lot of money. It's not a card I would be interested in at that price. It's showing how popular Bobby Witt is, and maybe he can be the future face of the hobby. Is that a population 1 of 0?
Yep, sure does. That's why it's so rare. It doesn't even exist.
I guess it's so rare it doesn't even exist.
That could mean
it's a frozen fractor.
Yeah, it's a frozen slab. I don't know.
That could be out of 1 of 1 or 1 of 10. So big, it's 1 of 1. I bet.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. It's surprising to me that it went that high, especially with Fanatics Collect, as you mentioned, former PWCC. It doesn't get nearly as many eyes as eBay, and yet you see an auction like this. So I don't know. Maybe more people are interested that now that Fanatics Collect has taken over, more people are interested in their auctions, and there might just be a couple people that were battling it out over this. Hard to say.
Yeah. So anybody else have any thoughts on this card, on this orange Bobby Witt?
I mean, it's interesting when you see these two cards together. I know we just talked about Mookie Betts versus Bryce Harper, but I mean, and I get it. That's a BGS 9 versus a PSA 10, but it's a BGS 9 of a guy with 10 years of service time almost and a Hall of Fame resume versus a PSA 10 of a guy who's played really well for a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
The last sale of this card was $14,000.
When was that?
In June.
In June.
Yeah.
On what? eBay? What was it on?
I didn't look at the.
So we're up 300% in 2 months.
Yeah.
It's been good, but man.
So it was on PWCC. It was a fixed price listing, believe it or not, with a best offer accepted from PWCC.
Was it the same card?
Exactly.
Let's see here. What's the serial number?
23.
No, it was not. It was not that card. It was not that card. This one didn't have the auto grade.
That's all. Like, I hate that.
Well, I do too. I think it's ridiculous, but I mean, I don't think it's ridiculous, but the price premium, but the two of these that last sold were 14K and 10K in March. And that actually looks like it may have been the same card twice on PW. It was. So the same PSA 10, because it's Pop 4, sold on PWCC twice. One's on auction and one's on best offer accepted. And now apparently it's gone nuclear for the 1010 on the orange. I don't know. Don't know.
It'll be interesting to see if it gets paid. Do we know if it gets paid, Ty?
They used to mark it as paid on their website. I don't know that they're doing that. I don't know the answer to that. If they're still showing that
incentivizes some shady action.
So go to their sold listings and just type in like Witt's name and see if like ones from prior months actually show as paid. That would be the big question.
It does make you kind of wonder, like, while he's doing that, like Fanatics is, marketing the hell out of the hobby. We just had Fanatics Fest in New York. If they are bringing in like new higher end potential collectors, this is potentially where they would want to funnel them to buy cards.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
How are they doing that realistically to get that price?
Well, I'll give you a really plausible example maybe. And this is Grant Williams is an NBA player who was at Fanatics Fest, who was at a private trade night with Jeff, who hit the Luka Doncic gold RPA out of NT in a box. Mm-hmm. And if some of these, I don't know how long he's been collecting. I don't know anything about like how much he knows about sports cards, but like if there are athletes getting into this and they're tight with Ruben and he's got him at his white party and he's like, hey, you should get into cards, check out our new platform.
That's a good point.
and somebody's like, I don't know, what if Patrick Mahomes was like, I'm buying my boy Bobby's card, you know,
He doesn't
like
care about 40 grand.
he doesn't care at all about 40 grand. And if this is a pop one of one, like 10-10, and somebody's in his ear saying this is a great investment, and who knows? I mean, who knows? It's one card and it's one sale and it's on an auction house. It's not some weird eBay thing.
Yeah.
So,
but to get there, you have to have multiple people thinking that, right?
You do.
At least one other.
Does it show you how many bidders on Fanatics Collect? If you click on it.
Sorry, it's loading. I don't think so.
Fees and taxes. 56 bids, but it doesn't show you how many bidders, does it?
No. That's okay. Anyways, we'll move on from this card. There's a couple other big ones we want to discuss really fast. We'll skip over Mookie. We'll skip over this Mantle. This is the Superfractor is a crazy sale. This is his 1-of-1 Superfractor from, oh, dang it. Am I here?
Yeah, we can hear you. You physically froze for a minute.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll just cut right here. Ready? Sorry for that. Okay. So here's another one. Here's a Freddie Freeman 2011 Topps Finest Superfractor 1-of-1. Gorgeous card. Not his best rookie card. His best rookie card is his Topps Chrome Superfractor, but this is probably top 5 rookie cards in regards to non-autographs. There's a lot going on, but this is a great card, iconic set. What do we think of $17,000 on this card?
I love this card, Scott. As you all know, I just want to take a minute. If you're watching this video and you sent me this listing on Instagram, thank you. I think somewhere in the neighborhood of like 40 people sent me this listing in the 24, 48 hours before this thing ended. I appreciate that. And I appreciate people thinking that I could afford to buy this. Like I'll take that as a compliment. This card is just spectacular. I hope that I will get a chance to see it in person. Sometime in the future. Like I love this
I think
set.
You will, Chris. I think you will.
Good. And I would put this thing in a museum. I think it's pretty phenomenal. It's just it's spectacular. Scott and I talked about it when it first came up, and our estimates. Now these were based on nothing but what we thought. You know, we've seen some similar sales. We like the set. We know a lot about Freeman and his cards. We were guessing around like 8,000, maybe 8,500, and it blew everything away. So I mean. It's pretty exciting. I like to think people are coming around on how good Freeman is.
I went to 9,500 and I was ready to sell a bunch of cards I cared about to get this card. And I thought I had a real I thought I had it and I wasn't even close. It just shows how some of these cards can just be attractive to a lot of buyers. So
yeah. I mean, it is a 1-of-1, and that 2011 Finest set has got to be one of the best sets of the last 15 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Any other thoughts on this card before we move on?
Freddie's 2009 Bowman Chrome Red Refractor Auto, BGS 9510 Auto, obviously numbered to 5, sold last December after his MVP caliber campaign for a shade under 20K.
I'd rather have that card personally.
This, if it were for my collection, and I was just like, I want to keep a card, I'd rather have a Superfractor because I'm a sucker for Superfractors. I love them. I think they're amazing. The red is probably like the better investment piece, but this is a 1-of-1. It's a 1-of-1. So it's interesting.
It's not really like it's a 1-of-1, but he has a canary.
Yeah.
Like there's.
I also think
1-of-1.
I think that red actually was. I think that was a really good price. Personally, at under 20,000, it was actually the week before Christmas. And so it was kind of in that off season period. You had his orange to 25 sell for 13,000 in September, when I think the prices were actually 2 of them did in a PSA 9 and a BGS 9.5. So I don't know. I think that's an amazing card. The Superfractor is an amazing card.
Jeff, Chris, would you rather have the Superfractor or the Bowman Chrome Red Auto?
Jeff, you go first.
I like Ty's points on this, and it is an absolutely beautiful card. But I would go with the red.
Yeah, me too. I'll take the red. Scott mentioned there is also a Canary Diamond 1-of-1, so technically there's 2 1-of-1s out of this Finest set. And I'm not sure the Auto Superfractor actually exists. There used to be sitting on eBay like a prototype or something. It looked just like a Superfractor with the space for the Auto, but no Auto was in there. And I talked to some Freeman collectors, some big guys in Atlanta at the time, and they said they've never seen the actual Auto exist. So there was a theory. This is just a theory that the Superfractor auto was not signed. Like somehow they missed it and it like went out the back door.
The one thing I'll say, just to add to this lore, but the Trout, there's a Trout out there, the test proof as well, non-signed, and there is a Trout that's signed. So just so you know, there's a chance to go buy a box at 11 Top's Finest. Maybe you'll pull your Freddie Superfractor autograph.
I honestly wish Trout wasn't in there because I would buy a box to rip to go Freddie hunting. Yes. Because Trout's in there, the prices are outrageous.
Dude, 2005 Series 2 with Billy Butler, and it has Justin freaking Verlander. So now I can't afford to opening up anything and chasing Billy. So I feel ya. Okay, next up we have, this card blows my mind. Jose Ramirez Atomic Refractor Autograph PSA 10 sold for $17,000. This is numbered to 10. One caveat with Jose Ramirez is he does not have a Bowman Chrome autograph. He only has one prospect card, and that's Heritage Minor Leagues with sticker autographs that are horrible. They're all off card. He did a horrible job signing. This is his second best autographed rookie card in existence. You could argue the Topps Finest Superfractor, but his Topps Chrome Superfractor 1 of 1 sold for $20,000. This card sold for $17,000. I expected this to go to 7 to 10 is where I was guessing. And I was even like, man, I want to maybe go get one of his best cards. Went for $17,000. How do we feel about this card? Ty, what are you thinking when you see this sale?
We always talk about Jose not getting enough love. Somebody loves him. Somebody loves him. That's a big sale for a Jose Ramirez card. It's a really big sale for a Jose Ramirez card. Like his regular atomic, just refractor, numbered to 10 out of Topps Chrome. Base did 3,300. So that's a big sale for the auto.
I think people are realizing that he has a legitimate shot at the Hall of Fame right now. And I've been a Jose fan for a few years. I have a few of his nicer cards, but like people are understanding there's a 40-40 potential coming. I wonder if Cleveland fans are saying this is a one-team guy. I want one of his best cards ever made. It could be just two guys. Like, what do you think, Jeff?
I think you're right. I think that people are realizing he's got a Hall of Fame talent. He's putting a Hall of Fame resume together. He's probably going to get another top 5 MVP finish. But as we've also talked about on other shows and recently, that's not all that goes into somebody's collectability. So we've seen his prices not do much. And part of that is because of where he plays, I think, in Cleveland. And I don't know, Chris asked me the other day if he goes 40-40, will anybody care? And I don't know. As far as the hobby goes, I don't know. He just doesn't have that it factor that a lot of people do. So I was surprised to see that high of a sale for a Jose Ramirez card, to be honest.
Yeah, this was pretty shocking, I thought. But yeah, Jose, he's on pace right now for the quietest, most like unassuming 40-40 season ever. I mean, it stinks if he actually gets there and Ohtani goes 50-50 and no one will care. But
did you guys see this one?
Yeah, it's a cool card.
Yeah, it's a cool card. $3,500 supposedly if it was paid for on eBay. And another one, yeah, for Chief Wahoo. But here's his rookie auto red refractor out of Finest, $3,000.
Yeah, maybe people are noticing, and it matters that he doesn't have that prospect auto. So these rookie autos are important. You can make an argument that, like Scott said, that Atomic out of 5 is his second best rookie auto.
I purchased a few years back the Jose Ramirez Finest Superfractor, 1 of 1. After seeing that Freddie Freeman sale and this Jose Ramirez sale, I'm feeling pretty good about that one.
You should send it to Fanatics Collect, and
you should definitely send it to Fanatics Collect and put it on their next auction.
Do it.
It'll sell for like $1,800.
$18.
I don't think Michael Rubin would let it sell for that little.
So here is a Nolan Arenado PSA 10 orange sold for $12,000. We'll go quick. Gut feeling. How do you feel about that? Seems kind of high to me. What do you guys think?
Seems a little high.
Arenado just is not someone I have ever had any interest in.
High.
I like him a lot.
I know.
It seems high.
This is a cool card. 5-star Logo Man auto of Trout. If this was basketball, what would this card go for, Ty?
I don't know. Like $1.9 million. Who knows? Basketball is psycho. People pay so much money for basketball cards. That's a lot of money for that card.
It is. And the problem is there's a lot of Logo Mans out there with Dynasty and all these different sets.
Correct. Yeah, correct. There are, and I don't know. That's a lot of money for.
Okay, we'll go quick. Anything else that stands out? David Wright, gold PSA 10 for 6,600. David Wright's not a Hall of Famer to me.
That's
Am
what I'm
I
talking
seeing
about.
correctly that David Wright outsold Julio Rodriguez?
Yeah,
And those are both golds.
both golds. Wright didn't
Yeah,
have any
but
parallels though. Different story.
right. That's probably his
I
best
mean,
card.
10 versus 9.5. Like it's a pop one of two. So like you
That-
could argue it's
That's actually
one-
his best card.
best
I
card
think,
in
probably.
existence.
In
you know?
existence.
But if
it
this auction took place on April 1st, would you expect it? Would you expect these two numbers to be close?
April 1st of the coming year or last year?
No,
Of
this
year.
last year.
No, it would have been
No.
this card had been 20 grand.
Yeah, that's
I don't
quite a precipitous fall,
Yeah,
Ooh.
sure is.
Nice word, Chris.
right?
Good job. That's the word of the week. Ty did that once. You got the word of the week for me.
I did. Yeah.
So anything else? That's pretty
I
cool.
like David Wright a lot. I really do, and I'd love to see him on ESPN instead of stupid Alex Rodriguez. But I don't know if I would pay more for any David Wright card than that Julio Rodriguez card. I don't know.
I'd have a hard time with it, but this is a card that shocked me. I'm surprised this card didn't go for more. Like that's a cool card to me.
Yeah, with the other sales up there, that's interesting.
Yeah, this card I feel like didn't go for as much as it should have. Obviously not a PSA 10 with that white corner right there. Let me make it bigger for those that are on a mobile device. But there's
the Soto
the
tops black.
corner. Soto tops black, BGS. This is a 2018 rookie, BGS 9.5, but it has a bad corner, like a pretty bad corner.
Most of the BGS 9.5s have one of those corners. It's like
That's
they're
true.
so generous with those
That's
9.5s on those cards.
Well, look at that corner. There's one bad corner, two bad corners, white there, three bad corners. It's tough. It's a tough card to get a good grade in.
Yeah, it sure is.
So those are the high-end sales. I just wanted to get your thoughts on them. A couple of them blew my mind. So any thoughts? Are we just like back in a bull baseball card market? Like we're seeing some big sales going on.
I don't know.
What do
Ty,
you
I'm curious how Ty and Jeff feel about the Fanatics Collect just being an auction platform, because it gives me kind of the heebie-jeebies a little bit. There's always just like, it's a weird situation where a company produces a product and we buy it, and then there's a secondary market, and now that same company is selling or auctioning off these same products on the secondary market on their platform.
That's
so
weird.
It just seems like it's better for them for these prices to be high, right? I mean, a $300 hobby box seems less crazy when a Jose Ramirez rookie sells for $17,000. So like, I don't know. I'm not accusing anyone of anything, but it does seem a situation ripe for manipulation, ripe for some potential shenanigans.
Yeah, I think that there is a reason to be concerned, or at least take a look. I had a little concern when they bought out PWCC. We knew PWCC was in a little bit of financial trouble, so Fanatics buying them was not surprising, given the way that Fanatics wants to branch out into the industry. So far, not a big foray into grading, as far as I know. I guess they have a relationship. Is that with CGC? So I'd be a little bit more concerned if they were vertically integrated with a grading company as well. But yeah, there's some reason to be concerned for them getting their cut of these sales and making it look better than it is, making the market look better than it is. And so, yeah, it's hard to make any accusations without any sort of evidence, but I feel like it is a situation that deserves to be looked at least with a little bit of skepticism.
PWCC was caught shill bidding. This is different than Fanatics Collect. Like, I need to make that clear. I am not accusing Fanatics Collect of doing it, but my point is it happens. It does happen. I think it was the CEO was texting people to bid stuff up and things. And so
that's why they got kicked off of eBay.
They got kicked off eBay. And so I don't think that's what's happening personally. I think there was just a few cards with very interesting circumstances. That wit is the most confusing and perplexing to me, to be honest with you. But it's really easy to manipulate this world. Let's just say those sports cards in general on any platform. It just takes two bad apples to do it.
Yeah. Overall, I would say, like, I feel like I can hear Phil's voice in my head, like, well, what's worse, this or like PSA owning, a grading company and then also having a vault that they sell through eBay, and then Nat Turner buys cards through eBay through that. Like, overall, my attitude toward the hobby is pretty laissez-faire. I have a strong aversion to regulation coming in because I think it could just add a whole bunch of bureaucracy to things that would add more layers of friction, more fees, more taxes, more everything, and just screw us all and make it really difficult to even participate in the hobby in a meaningful way. I'm for protections, but I don't know what that would look like. And I think crooks are going to crook, like no matter what. Where there's a will, there's a way. So like if you started saying, well, let's regulate this and let's make them divest this group or like split this up, or, here's a monopoly, but they got to.
You muted yourself.
Oh, weird. I don't know what happened.
Something about monopoly. Keep going.
Yeah, I didn't even touch anything. That was strange.
Chris was sick of you talking, dog.
No.
Mute.
Somebody else muted me. So I think these big companies, I know people are really cranky about, Fanatic, everything's killing the hobby. It feels like everybody in the comment, everything's killing the hobby that we love and whatever. But I think some of this stuff is inevitable. There's some Thanos activity going on in the hobby, for good or for bad, and it's coming. And so I think PSA is doing a lot for technology with their grading services. I think Fanatics is doing a lot of really cool things in spite of some of the things we might think are gimmicky or weird or maybe even bad. Overall, I'm really bullish on the hobby as a whole. And so like them buying this company out of insolvency, out of bankruptcy, and saying we're going to like resurrect them and, have a marketplace, another marketplace to compete. It's actually anti-monopoly, because then it's not just eBay, there's other big marketplaces like having a voice. I'm okay with it. I don't know. I'm not as concerned. I'll let all the highly qualified internet detectives and anti-hanky-panky experts deal with this matter, and I'm just gonna have fun buying cards that I like.
Smart man.
Yeah, I will say, there's other things that concern me more. The most concerning thing for me, and I know this is a little off topic, I just wanted to throw this out there, is still whoever's choosing images. And just a quick reminder that that Topps gave us this card in 2024 Topps Chrome. This is a image variation short print, and it is Jason Dominguez literally watching a video on his phone.
That's horrible.
And someone at Topps was like, yes, this is an image variation. This image is special. And I noticed on Thursday on our Blabbin' About Slabbin' that we did, just look at this. Like, he's clearly caught, and I don't even know who that is on next to him, but they're laughing about something. It's not even, he has another phone like down here. This is. You
know what that is? Gleyber Torres literally just handed him a phone with 2 chicks, 1 cup on it, and said, "Have you ever seen this, man?" And he wasn't in college in the early 2000s, so he had no idea that existed.
Yeah, T-Bot, I think you're exactly right, because the look on his face is the sort of that shock and horror.
Yeah.
So anyway, like, this needs to get cleaned up before I worry about them, doing other shit.
Wander Franco did what after that big contract? What a jackwagon. Yeah.
I never thought that'd be mentioned on our podcast before.
Well, here we are.
All right. Well, I have one final question for you all.
Yeah.
When are you supposed to buy players' cards?
Ooh.
Bobby Witt. That card's $44,000. Is it just too late for Bobby Witt? Or is this the beginning of the run of Bobby Witt, and we're going to see Mike Trout level prices? Like, I've always kind of wondered, like, when do you buy? When do you sell? Like, obviously, there's moments in time that are really great for selling. That orange sale, I would take that sale. I would not be buying right now. But it's hard for, like, the average collector to understand, like, well, when should I buy his Topps Chrome base autograph? Like, right? Like, is now a good time? Should you wait? Or is there situations where it could be both? Like, what do you guys think?
You buy the dip and you sell the peak. It's easy.
But is now the peak, or is there more coming from Bobby Witt? Like, that's the question you got to ask.
Yeah, I think he was being a little facetious there. Like, yeah,
facetious? No way.
I think it's a peak right now, personally. I think it's a peak. If it's the peak, like the high point in Bobby's career, maybe not. Hopefully not. Honestly, we're rooting for the guy, I think. But like right now, I wouldn't buy his cards. They're out of the playoff contention right now. They're one out in the wild card. he would have to go on a nuclear run in the playoffs to see even more price appreciation in the immediate. And then invariably his prices are going to come down in December, in January. Look for those cards. Maybe it's not going to be the pop 4 or 1/1 Bowman, orange, but like you can find some pretty sick cards in that time frame for sure. That's the time to buy.
What about Aaron Judge? I felt like the biggest peak of all Aaron Judge peaks was 2 years ago in 2022 at this time when he broke the home run record. But now he's having a great year this year. So like his cards are actually higher. I believe they're higher now than they were then. So is it not time to buy Judge? Like, is it now the worst time in the history of Judge cards? Like, what is the future of these things? I personally believe it's all hype, but like, what do you guys think?
I feel personally attacked because Scott knows I just bought an Aaron Judge card.
Again, there can be good cards.
11 homerless games ago, I purchased an Aaron Judge card, and I think I wrecked this whole season. But we'll see how that plays out.
Well, we've talked about this before. When the hype cycle is at its peak, when a player is doing well, sometimes you see cards that you don't see otherwise. So then you do have to make a decision if you want to buy when the prices are high, because you may not see those cards again. So for cards that are really rare, it's a much tougher decision than cards that are that show up all the time. If they show up all the time, those are the times when you can go in the off season. You wait for that dip that Teapot was talking about, but it's hard. It's when a player's doing well, that's when we're interested. That's when we're watching them. That's when we want to buy the cards. But yes, it's not always the best time to buy them.
Should we just sell all of our cards and buy vintage?
Yeah, FOMO is very real. I do think that as we get closer to October too, the teams that are in it, those players are going to start to see little bumps as well. If you want to sell right as we get into October, like all these players who are like the Dodgers, Yankees, Orioles, like it's probably a pretty good time. We have said that like postseason numbers don't necessarily get you in the Hall of Fame, but they really do help. Whoa, God, Teapot leaves and our heads got way too big, but they are important, I think, in the hobby in terms of collectability. So that first playoff matchup, if Gunnar Henderson hits like a walk-off home run in game 2, probably not a great time to buy his cards, but a good time to sell.
At least in short-term hobby prices. I think in the long term is different. We talk about Jackie Robinson, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron all not having great postseason stats, right? Like in the long run, you kind of forget those things. But in the short term, it absolutely builds a foundation for collectors. And the long term, and then it all fades and becomes its own thing.
Yeah, we talked about Harper before, but when they were their run to the World Series against the Astros, Jeff, I think that was the year we saw like 3 of those Topps Chrome sliding SSP rookies pop up on eBay.
I want one of those so bad.
And we hadn't seen one. None had shown up in like 18 months or 2 years, and all of a sudden, he hits that home run against the Padres, and 2 showed up. Another one showed up in the World Series.
I've been trying to buy one of those for a while. I've had no luck. I'm sure other people are just buying too.
They're not around.
You got to be ready as the players do well. Like I was saying, some pop out that you haven't seen before. But also, like you've alluded to, it might not be a great buy time, but the sell time, even if you believe in a player long term, if they get that bump in early October, it might be a good time to sell, because chances are you'll be able to buy a card back for cheaper later on in the off season, as long as it's not one of those one of ones or ultra rare cards that we're talking about.
Yeah, it's really tough to time. It's really tough to figure out. So Jeff and I recently purchased a big Ohtani card, and we were able to afford it by selling other Ohtanis, which sort of made us feel better. Like if something we sell goes up, at least the thing we're buying should also be going up. And not coincidentally, we sold one of those hitting SSPs out of Update, or batting, I think it's called. Yeah. And one on eBay, like 9 or 10 days after we sold ours, sold for like $1,000 more on eBay. So we like just missed, timing that one really well, but necessity was that we needed the money then.
I still think it was the right move, because that means the card you got probably is up then. Right?
That's what we're thinking. Like if we're buying a bigger Ohtani, it makes sense to sell Ohtani to get there. You're buying a bigger Freeman, sell Freeman to get there, and then you kind of limit your risk.
I agree. Especially as a player collector like we all are, right? It's tough.
I just have to say, if you're interested in finding out more about that card, click on the video that we just posted on Blabbing About Slabbing, talking about our process of deciding what to sell and what to buy, even if it's not a good time to buy a certain player.
Yeah, absolutely. We broke down how we thought about it. But yeah, Judge, I don't know. I think the thing that Judge is missing on his resume is a big postseason. He has not had that yet. They've gotten there, and his numbers, I mean, again, tiny sample size. Anyone could have a bad 4 games, and then you're done. So, I mean, if he can kind of push that team into a long October run, his cards, Yankee fans are going to go absolutely nuclear for his stuff. And I would also think that if Soto leaves, Judge's stuff might tick up even further because Yankee fans are going to be completely done with Juan Soto.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think a lot of
huge. And I think there's people sitting on the sideline, Yankees fans waiting to see if Soto signs, and if they do, they might go in, and if he doesn't, like Chris said, maybe that money funnels over to Judge and say he's our guy.
Yeah, but yeah, it's hard. There's no easy answer. So if you're watching and you always feel confused about when to buy and when to sell, like you're not alone. Like I think we all battle these demons.
Like you really do have to wait for the moments where either they get a small injury or they slow down or they miss the playoffs. Like, there are opportunities, but like in the long run, modern baseball cards are going to be very interesting in 20 years to see what actually held value from this time period, because a lot of it will be down. Not a lot of us own, but a lot of it will be up. So we'll have to just hope we made the right calls in 2024.
Yeah, it takes guts. Like an example, Julio Rodriguez, horrific season. We just saw that gold. I think whoever bought that gold that we just saw 6,300. Like
6,300. Yeah.
I mean, I don't have that kind of money to just gamble on Julio Rodriguez, but if you do, I mean, I think that's a fantastic buy considering we said it was about 20K in the spring.
I'm going to pull up his graph real quick and just kind of make sure.
I mean, if you believe in Julio Rodriguez, then this offseason could be a great time to put some money into him, but there's no guarantee that this season isn't who he is now.
So if we go look at that card and we go back to all time, the highest gold is $21,000, March 16th, 2023. Oof. Heading into his sophomore season after his rookie year, it went 18,000, 19,000, 21,000, and then it dropped to 14 and then back up to 16, and then it sat flat for 10 for a long time. The lowest sale was $4,800 on July 3rd. Wow. So that's almost the lowest sale ever because he's been higher than that since he was a prospect. So
Yeah, so, I mean, if you can stomach it, like Scott was just saying, buy it when someone gets hurt, buy it when their team misses the playoffs,
Yeah, just like in the Ohtani market, the people that really made out were the people that bought him when he had his surgery.
Yes.
2019, 2020.
I didn't have the guts, and then I
didn't either because I thought, well, how's he going to come back?
I kept saying, I'll wait until he slows down. I'll wait until this. I'll wait until this. And then he just didn't do any of it. And that's kind of what I'm asking this question for. So, like, is there opportunities where, like, they just never go down? Or is that Ohtani drop coming? Not trying to jinx you two for the card you just bought.
No,
which is their channel. But, like, it's tough because this market is so volatile. And so what have you done for me today?
Yep.
It's scary.
It's cute, Scott, that you're worried about jinxing us. I think that's adorable. Like, I mean, I'm out here wrecking careers and losing people their homes, and you're worried about
families, poor people's kids.
Right. So you as you famously, you don't have an Ohtani. Are you close to making a move on one now?
Well,
what are your thoughts right now? I
was going to buy the one that you bought. I was talking to the seller too, but I wanted you guys to get it because you were in a better position and you like him so much more, and that's totally cool. Like, I was talking to the guy, and I think you got a great deal on it. Go check it out. Go check out their channel. They do a great job together. So I was going to do it, and now I'm kind of backing off because I bought something else. Should I share what I bought? Or should I wait?
Sure.
I don't know.
Okay.
Did you share what you bought on your channel? You did.
On the channel.
I'm not going to make a video around mine. There's a chance it's not here by the time that this video comes out. And if that's the case, I probably will edit this part out. So if you're watching this, that means I have it. But I did buy just barely a Mookie Betts Bowman Chromatograph Blue BGS 9.510. So that card was $3,800 versus Ohtani of similar quality is like $20,000. And I like Mookie Betts. So it's like, I got to just buy what I like at this point. Yeah. So I don't know. There's actually a gold on alt that's ending this week that is interesting to me. The gold PSA or BGS 9.5 Topps Chrome Auto out of 50 looks really good. But if it stays like around 10 to 12, maybe I'll do it, but I don't think it will.
You said Topps Chrome, but you mean Bowman Chrome, right?
Topps Chrome, gold auto, Topps Chrome, Ohtani 2018.
Oh, Ohtani. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Mookie Betts.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. No, there's an Ohtani I was watching.
Okay.
Like, if that one ends low, maybe I'll throw in some money and go get it. But
yeah, Ohtani's Topps Chromes are interesting.
Yeah.
The Bowman Chrome hitting gets all the headlines, but Topps Chrome is also hitting It might be technically the better buy right now because those prices are lower. I think you could probably get a Topps Chrome hitting gold for the same price as a Bowman Chrome hitting blue.
Mhm.
Yeah,
that's
but
interesting.
the hard thing we talk about though is once the hobby latches onto a card as the card, it's hard to dethrone that card or make progress on that card. So I think I don't want to give away anything, but I think what you two fine gentlemen did was the right move. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's one thing that Jeff and I learned very much the hard way is that like if the hobby is going after, if the hobby signals that say like Topps Chrome Gold is the card, like that's the rookie card to get, there was like a year where I refused. And I'm like, well, no, there's value over here in like the Bowman Chrome rookie card and like the Bowman Chrome Gold refract, not the first, but the rookie. I was like, the image is cool, that they're so like the refractors look great. They're not printed very much. So I was trying to like find value in like these other products.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I ended up losing money on almost all of those because people just don't care about them. And there's a reason.
And in our video, we talk about a card like that with Juan Soto, and it was the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
The Topps Chrome, even though it was a sticker auto, that's what people wanted.
Yeah, Jeff and I made like a bet on Bowman Chrome, on Bowman's Best. We can be specific about it here. I think that like his gold refractor auto and Bowman's Best would be a great like long-term hold because it's on card, whereas the Topps Chrome Gold refractor is a sticker. And our theory was that over time the on card would really matter. And then those two auctions ended, or those two listings ended. The Topps Chrome Gold went for 11,000, and the Bowman's Best red went for 6,000. So we're like, well, we were wrong. We just kind of moved on.
It's hard, man. It's hard to make things make sense, but at the same time, like there's like that really big money coming in. It's going to go to the best cards. Everybody who can't afford the best cards is buying the second best cards. But once that like middle tier gets wiped out, if Ohtani does slow down, only the top cards are going to be like really important. And that's kind of my fear of buying those second tier cards for $5,000 to $10,000, or even the third tier cards for $500 to $3,000. Like those have a lot more. They seem to have, to me, like downside risk.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
That's why I haven't bought Ohtani. Not because I don't love him, not because I don't think he's a great player. I'm just waiting for the right card at the right moment when I have the right funds and it makes sense. And it may never happen, and I'm cool with that because I like the cards I have. So
yeah, and you know that like he's on base propping up Mookie's RBI totals.
Mookie's been doing great in the 2-hole. Actually, I like it.
I like what they did. The left, right, left is a really good idea for that.
It's great for Mookie to get good matchups, honestly, against some lefties. So. Anyways, let's wrap this one up. Any final thoughts from you guys?
No, I like where we ended right there. If you can stay to the quote unquote the best sets, I think that's a great idea. And interestingly, I would put this out there on September 11th. Bowman Chrome drops, as we talked about, and Bowman Chrome is like one of the biggest high end sets that Topps puts. High end's not the right word, but it's like one of the most collectible sets. People target this set for prospects. You will find a lot of the same names from Bowman Chrome in Bowman Sterling, which comes out the very next day. But I would recommend you not be confused, and I would stay away from Bowman Sterling, personally.
Especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
Especially for the next 6 months. If you look at Bobby Witt Jr. 2019 Bowman's best cards compared to his Bowman Chrome autographs, you're going to be filled with like it's so night and day. So
exactly. Yeah, it's got the Bowman Chrome first or nothing. Like the Bowman is, I think it's Sterling. Bowman Sterling is just not.
A lot of people would rather just have the rookie card. Plain and simple. Even the Mike Trout 2009 Bowman Sterling, which has had a lot of legs for a long time, is losing a lot of appeal to people. That card used to be like $5,000 because it was right behind the Bowman Chrome, which was $30,000. But now it's like, I don't know. It's tough. Yeah,
Freeman has one too in 2010 as well. In between like his first Bowman Chrome autos, which are not, they're Bowman Chrome autos of 2009, his rookies are 2011, and he's got that 2010 Bowman Sterling auto in there, and people used to really like it. But yeah, similar to Trout, I think there's nothing about it really. It's sort of in that middle ground.
It's tough. But anyways, thank you for listening. Probably longer than we anticipated for this episode, but we appreciate you sticking through it. Let us know in the comments down below what your thoughts are from this episode, and we'll see you in the next one.